things change in your life, that's just opening you up for new opportunities. It's about like how you embrace it or how you look at the situation. Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about letting the old fall away so that you can bring in new. And a lot of times that's very hard. Like, I talk a lot about manifesting, and like, you don't want to manifest from a place of lack. Like, when changes happen in our lives, sometimes like it definitely like losing a job, or a change in like your housing situation, or even like in transportation, like that can be very stressful. Definitely if you are somebody that's like kind of, you don't have a lot of money saved, you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck, that could be something that's very difficult to deal with. Or even like a lot of times you hear people say trust the process, but like when it's so much going on around you, that's like really hard to do, or it's really hard to keep yourself like in that mindset. I constantly talk about expansion, but like when things fall away, when things change in your life, that's just opening you up for new opportunities. It's about like how you embrace it or how you look at the situation. Like, you can't be afraid of change. You got to like shed your old skin so you can bring in new opportunities or be the best version of yourself. Also, a lot of the times we attach ourselves to our material possessions. We attach ourselves to our titles, our job, our careers. And in all actuality, we are none of those things. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So sometimes, like when that mask falls away, or part of that mask falls away in terms of, a change in like any life change, any sudden life change, definitely in regards to like job or employment, that's something that's really big that a lot of people deal with. And like sometimes, like I said, we identify, like we don't really know ourselves outside of the things that we do in life. Like, who are you outside of being a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a nurse, a doctor, truck driver, or concrete worker? I mean, a construction worker, or whatever you do, a bricklayer. You can do it, does not matter what you do, but who are you outside of that? When those things change, or when the universe removes certain situations and things out of our life, that's when we have a chance to actually get to connect with the true essence of who we are, the true essence of our spiritual being. Like, you're never lost. Sometimes, like when we have those sudden changes, or those shakeups in life, sometimes you can feel like you're lost, or you can feel like you're stuck, but you're never lost and you're never stuck. It's all about like your mindset. That's like, I always talk about mindset, and your mindset is very important in regards to how you move forward in life, the decisions you make, and everything like that. Like, you cannot be in a place of lack and want to manifest more for yourself. Sometimes you can go into depression, trying to play a character. Like, you really want to express yourself, but you're so worried about, okay, is this presentable? Am I saying this right? Am I doing this right? Are people going to accept me? Are people going to understand me? But when all actuality, you have to come to grips with yourself. Like, you have to accept yourself and love yourself. You cannot be so hung up on the character that we play in the 3D. It's like we put on this mask and we go about the motions, and then we feel disconnected. We feel disconnected from ourselves. We feel disconnected from other people. And that can lead to you starting to feel like an imposter, or imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is when you feel like you don't deserve what you have in life. But it's a lot of the times like we attach ourselves to these titles, and we are like constantly trying to prove ourselves. Like, we feel like we have to prove to other people that we're enough. We feel like we have to prove to ourselves that we're enough as well. And definitely if something happens, like a change in your circumstances, or you lose that job and you have identified with that job, like that's who you are, and you don't know who you are outside of that, outside of being a husband, outside of being a wife. Sometimes like you can find yourself feeling lost, or feeling like you don't have an identity. But that is the best time for you to find yourself. When that mask slips away, masking is not something that is specific to one group of people. Like, we all, in a sense, mask just to make it through life, just to deal with stresses in society in general. Then when you go home for the day, you just like feel so exhausted and so drained because you showed up for everybody except for you. You have to show up for you. That's why it's important that you are mindful, like, especially when it's like things that you don't want to do, like certain obligations. Like sometimes we overextend ourselves or we don't say no. Sometimes we take on so much just in life, the pressures of life in general. We take on so much that we feel like we lose a part of ourselves. And when you experience changes in your life and you feel like you are attached to that, or that is a part of your identity, sometimes that can have you feeling lost. So that's why I say it's important that you allow room for expansion. You have to be able to allow old things to fall away so that you can bring in new opportunities. Look at everything as an opportunity. Okay, you have a switch up in regards to your job, whether or not you got fired, whether or not you had to quit for reasons outside of your control, or regardless of what happened in regards to your change in employment. You can look at that as an opportunity to gain new skills. You can look at that as an opportunity to work on that project or explore different things that you've always wanted to try. But whenever you're dealing with a situation like that, it's very important that you do not isolate yourself. Like, you have to be able to stand in your power and not be afraid to be seen. Like I say all the time, take up space, because you can get really angry and frustrated. Like, it definitely, if you're putting all of these, like, you got enough people in the world placing expectations on you. If you are putting outlandish expectations on yourself and it's causing you a lot of stress, and you're like, you can't even enjoy life because you feel like you have to show up a certain way in the world, or you lose that job that's attached to that image that you have created, that image that you have been building throughout life, that can cause severe, like, depression. That's why people sometimes turn to coping mechanisms that are unhealthy, whether or not it's gambling, drugs, alcohol. It's because you're running from addressing what you're really feeling, especially when you are not being true to yourself, especially when you are not being patient with yourself. Like, you have to give yourself, like, a lot of the times we are more patient with people around us than we are with ourselves. Like, we will go around and around in our head in regards to, what we didn't do, what we can't do, what we should have done. And, instead of being patient and looking at whatever happened as a learning opportunity, or, also not internalizing, like, not paying attention to everything that somebody thinks about you, like every comment that's said about you, or every judgment that's placed on you, definitely in regards to situations that are outside of your control. Like I said, we often are so focused on what other people are going to think about us that it blocks us from doing what really makes us happy. It blocks us from truly allowing our light to shine, being so focused and hung up on being accepted by society. But when you strip that mask away, when you allow old things to fall away, when you allow what no longer serves you to fall away, whether that's people, places, jobs, situations, whatever it is, when you embrace those changes and you allow those things to fall away, that's when you really get in tune with the essence of who you are. That's when you really start to find your passion. And when you find your passion, you find your life purpose. I've said that before. Like, it's really important that you trust the process. And I don't mean in the sense of like, okay, you lost your job, so you're just going to sit there and expect the job just to fall into your lap. No. Okay, you lost your job. Well, that's giving you an opportunity to go apply at the place you originally wanted to work at before, but you didn't get approved for that job. But now that you have more experience, you may be hired faster than some other candidates. You never know. Like, you have to take those chances. And also, a break in employment gives you opportunities to go out and, explore new skills and, get into new hobbies, or just maybe you can go back to school and get some, refresher courses, or it's all kind of things that you can do just to improve on yourself. Like, you have to continue to do that self-improvement. Like, you don't never see an ending as an ending. With every ending, there is a new beginning. You cannot have an ending without a new beginning. So as long as you are in that mindset and you are open to change, you are not blocking yourself from moving forward. You're not so hard on yourself. Like I said, the world is hard enough on us. We have to be patient with ourselves. In a world that is constantly projecting expectations onto you, you have to be patient with yourself. When you go against yourself, when you go against your truth, that causes depression, that causes stress, that causes anxiety. But when you realize that there are things that happen in life that are outside of your control, that opens you up to change. That opens you up to allowing room for error, allowing mistakes, not being so hard on yourself or being so hard like I'm not skilled, I'm not qualified enough, I'm not good enough. Like you are good enough, you are deserving, and it's always room for improvement. So I just wanted to put this video out there. I hope this helps somebody understand that, changes happen in life. Sometimes it can be extremely stressful, especially when you have attached yourself to an idea or you have attached yourself to that job and you don't know who you are or what you enjoy outside of that. Like some people don't even know like what they like to do. Some people don't even know, like if you were to sit and ask some people, okay, well, what do you like to do? Or who are you? Who are you aside from the titles? Who are you aside from a mother or father? Like some people have no clue. Like sometimes we allow those things to define us. Sometimes we don't even know what we enjoy doing. Like what do you do for fun? Like what are your hobbies? What are your interests? Life teaches us so much about ourselves, but sometimes we are so busy lifing that we forget to live life. Like we're so busy like just surviving that we don't enjoy life. And it's very important that you get in tune with who you are. Even if that's just going out, go to an amusement park, go do something exciting, go to a trampoline park, or, connect with your inner child. It's important that we connect with our inner child and heal our inner child, because hurt people. And a lot of people are just going around, unhealed because we are not in tune or connected to the essence of who we are, because we are out here in society masking and trying to fit into these roles and expectations that have been placed on us. So like I said, I wanted to put this video out there to help somebody. I hope this video reaches whoever it needs to reach. Be patient with yourself, enjoy the experience, enjoy life, and stop being so hard on yourself. Embrace change. Change is not your enemy. I hope you have an amazing, blessed day, and I'm gonna end it there. All right, bye.